Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is Amir Ismail, live with you from Toronto, Canada. I'm sorry we are not on camera today. We are on the road once again, but I will be with you through this voice communication, and we will try to cover the latest Canadian immigration updates with you. As you all know, I am an authorized Canadian immigration advisor based out of Toronto. I'm a member in good standing with the Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants and Immigration Consultants of Canada Regulatory Council, and appropriately recognized by the Government of Canada to represent immigration and citizenship applications. So as always, we will be joined with our Asia Regional Director, Khwaja Numan, shortly. But before he joins in, we would be discussing a few of the updates, and then we'll also take your questions. So feel free to leave your questions in comments, and we will attend to them at the end of the session. So the first news we had, and was expected, that Ontario, the province where we are based in, invited 1,186 express entry candidates in its first tech draw of 2021. So Ontario holds these draws that are directed towards tech applicants, and they basically target computer-related occupations. Most of the time, they select applicants who are in the express entry pool, who are having work experience in 6 occupations. So this time around as well, Ontario selected these 1,186 applicants from the express entry pool, and they select people for nomination under their human capital priorities stream. So these candidates were invited to apply for nomination, and they are now expected to submit their application to Ontario. And if they get nominated, they can claim 600 extra points in their CRS score. So these people are related to computer field, and their CRS score was between 453 and 467. So the standard for the Ontario program in terms of CRS is also very high at the moment. And they selected, as I said, 6 occupations, which were computer and information systems managers, computer engineers, database analysts and data administrators, software engineers and designers, computer programmers and interactive media developers, or web designer and developers. So lately we are being approached by a lot of web designers and developers, and they are asking us if they qualify. So in terms of the mainstream federal skilled worker program, there are no occupation lists basically. But when it comes to the provinces, they usually have an occupation list. And for the tech draw, they are part of these invitations, web designers and developers. So very good opportunity for computer professionals if their CRS score is also good, because we understand that even with 453 to 467, people are struggling to get an invitation to apply. So that is important to note that Ontario selects people at a very high ranking score. But if you're in the pool, you are basically automatically available for selection by Ontario. So it becomes important. And recently we saw that there was a big draw targeted toward Canada Experience Class applicants, where we see this unprecedented draw invited more than 27,000 applicants. with a CRS score of 75. And a lot of people were asking us why the CRS score was too low. The appropriate answer, I think, would be that the IRCC wanted to basically give chance to all the CEC applicants who filed their application before or who created their profile before 12th of September 2020. What that means to the other applicants who are under federal skilled worker program is that not only 27,000 applicants were removed from the pool for the purpose of offering them or inviting them permanent residence status, but also with the combined effect of provincial nominee applicants being invited, it gives a lot of room for the federal skilled worker applicants for consideration in the coming draw, which also means that because Canadian government wants to target 401,000 applicants or newcomers, they want to welcome 401 in 2021. That also means that there is a chance that the CRS score for upcoming draws would be lowered. So it makes a lot of sense to be in the pool, to benefit from the lowering or declining CRS, and also the fact that if you are in the pool, you are basically available for selection by provinces. So it makes a lot of sense for people to consider creating their profile if something is holding them back, or if they are a bit concerned about the high CRS score at this point in time. My recommendation would be to not delay creating their profile, be in the pool, so that the doors of opportunity could be opened to them. In a similar draw, I wouldn't say similar, but Alberta is one other province that also selects applicants directly from the pool, just like Ontario. There is no separate application process. Alberta invites express entry candidates directly from the pool, and the information Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program has provided us in the recent draw that happened on 10th of February. We know that the CRS score of the lowest scoring person was 301. That means someone who had 301 ranking points, and if they were considered by Alberta because of the demand of their occupation, they were the ones who were invited. So Alberta has had the reputation of selecting good professionals, and the CRS score could be as low as 300 sometimes, but the opportunity exists only for those people who are in the express entry pool. So this is very important to note, that if you are not in the pool, you're basically giving away the opportunity of being selected, excuse me, being selected by Alberta and Ontario without you doing anything, because you're not approaching these provinces. They select you directly from the pool. But other provinces like Saskatchewan and Prince Edward Island, these are the provinces that require you to create a profile with these provinces as well. So it's important. Few more updates. One was the border restriction that Canada has extended for 2 more months for everyone else, other than the U.S. citizens. The U.S. travelers, they have been restricted for 1 month, but all other travelers are restricted for 2 months, and then there are further quarantine requirements and mandatory requirement of staying at a hotel after arrival here on your own expense, which is usually going to be more than $2,000. So basically, Canadian government wants to save the lives here in Canada. They want to make sure that the spread of COVID-19 is curbed, and that is why, while they're saying that you can travel to Canada if you are exempted, first of all, there are exemptions in place. Not everyone is allowed anyways, but if you are exempted, or even if you are a Canadian citizen or permanent resident returning to Canada, you need to produce a negative COVID-19 test before the departure at the time of boarding. And once you arrive here, you will be tested again at the airport, and you will be escorted to a hotel that is designated by the Canadian government. and you will be staying at that hotel for 3 days until you get your um, COVID-19 test, and it will be all on your expense. And if you're found positive, you will be escorted to another facility where you'll spend 14 more days until you are tested negative. Or if you are not, if you're proven to be negative, then you will be allowed to go to your destination where you would again quarantine for 14 days, and then after the end of those 14 days, you will have to test yourself again. So these are the restrictions, but hopefully the restrictions are going to be eased sometimes in future. Canadian government has given its commitment that all Canadians are expected to be vaccinated by the end of September this year, and we are hoping they have lots of shipments of vaccines coming into the country, and by September they'll have somewhere around 80 million doses available, which will be more than sufficient for each and every person in Canada to get vaccinated. So we are hoping that things are going to sort out very soon. Two more pieces of updates were BC, British Columbia, that invited 494 immigration candidates, and they actually held two PNP draws on February the 16th, and they selected people from 31 occupations. And the only thing is that you need to have a job offer from that province, from an employer based in that province, which is usually a tough ask for people to get. And the smallest province in Canada on the eastern border, Prince Edward Island, also held a new PNP draw, and it invited 121 immigration candidates under the express entry, labor impact, and business impact categories. So that is also a good option in terms of PNP nomination. So these were the quick updates we had. Let me add Khwaja Naman, our Asia Regional Director, joining us all the way from Karachi. I understand it's late at night, but his commitment is commendable. He's always available, and he's kindly available today as well. Let me add him, and we'll continue our discussion with him.
Hello, Amr Saab. How are you?
Hello, Naman Saab. How is it going in Karachi?
Well, everything is perfectly fine in terms of weather. Weather is changing a little bit. People are having flu and something like that. And there is in Karachi, especially, there are a lot of road blockages these days because of the IPL going on in Karachi. It was the opening match. So
Oh, okay. So maybe
yeah,
that is the reason we see very less crowd today for our um, live session, because usually we have more people. Today we have very few, but maybe some people are going to join later. But yes, if you're watching this as a recording because you were busy watching the very exciting cricket match, you can always watch this broadcast later on. But let's jump to acknowledgements. Who is with us today? And we will take some questions because I basically covered all the updates very quickly while
yeah.
you were on hold. And let's
I
see
was
who is with us today, and then we'll start taking questions today. And perhaps we can spend some more time on discussing some updates.
Yeah, sure.
Faiz Ahmed is with us, and he has wasted no time and very quickly to the point. He's asking about the AIPP, a program that we don't deal in most of the cases because the program requires you to have a job offer from an employer based in that province. If you have secured a job offer already, we might be able to assist you. But if your expectation is that we at AIA are going to arrange a job offer for you, we will not be able to do that. It's a regulated industry in Canada. Recruitment consultants, recruitment agents, licensed recruitment agents in Canada can be of assistance to you. So don't deal with the local people, and basically you are not allowed to pay, or no one is allowed to charge you any money. Not your immigration consultant, not your recruiter, not your employer. No one can charge you any fee. So don't pay any fee when it comes to that. Okay. We have Tariq Saisi with us, and he is acknowledging that we have reverted back to him for his assessment. And thank you, Tariq, for putting your trust in us We will be happy to assist you further, review your assessment result, and if you have further questions or comments, I'll be happy to set aside my time for you, and we'll discuss your case further. We have Amar Yasser with us. Thank you for joining us today, Amar. There's a question coming in. So what I'm doing right now, Khwaja Saab, is that I'm acknowledging and also trying to answer questions. And of
Okay.
course, your input would be very, very necessary. Salman Akbar, Muhammad Salman Akbar, is asking a very important question. And he's asking, is it okay to change NOC, National Occupation Classification Code, while one's application is uploaded in the system? The answer is yes, you can do that. Just make sure that if you're changing the NOC, there's a good reason to do that. I mean, to say, if you change it, if the reason is that you made a mistake in selecting the original NOC, makes a lot of sense for you to do that. But if you're double-minded, if you're thinking that the earlier NOC was correct, but the other NOCs also seems to be correct, this is where applicants make a mistake. They think that their chosen NOC is correct, and when it comes to the final decision of the visa officer, the job duties and everything, then the officer reverts back saying, I don't think that you have experience in your chosen NOC. So just be very careful about it. Review everything, all the rules surrounding the selection of NOC, job description, job duties, lead statement especially, because there are a lot of people who are confused about it and they don't take into account that part of NOC at all. If you'll need any assistance in terms of selecting the NOC, feel free to get in touch with our team. We arrange these kind of short professional consultations where client has one or two issues to discuss, and we'll be happy to assist you with the choice of correct NOC, because it is, it is actually the pivotal point for your application. This NOC selection, it can be make or break the deal for you. So very, very important. Just make sure that you make the right choice. Smile Azam has very kindly joined us again from Texas. He says it's very cold here, which is very unusual. I was looking at the news. In Texas, you had a snowfall. So it's like me saying that it's 50 degrees centigrade in Toronto. Never going to happen. But well, it has happened in past, I know. But for
I
someone
think in USA there was a little bit of electricity failure as well in
as
Houston.
well, which is
Yeah.
causing the problem, because when
Yeah.
you don't expect such a weather to occur in a kind of a region which is usually hot and humid, you don't have the preparation, right? And if the electricity fails, then of course there's a heating issue, and a lot of people are affected. And then of course your environment is not such that you are used to with the cold weather. In Toronto, I don't know what the weather is right now. I'm sure it's going to be -8 or something right now, or -10. But when the temperature reaches to zero, all the families all around the city and the country, they actually have a lot of fun. They say the weather is really good today. It is the t-shirt weather, 0 degrees centigrade. So you get used to it. Amreen is saying it is interesting indeed. I mean, thank you very much for joining. It is interesting for us as well that a lot of people respond to our online live sessions. Okay, so we have question: study permit easily allow children and spouse to get visa? It's a very good question. Let me just very quickly display the name. I don't know if, why your name doesn't
Muhammad,
um,
Muhammad Haris.
with the system. Anyways, Mohammed Haris is saying that is it easy to for this family to accompany a student to Canada? So, well, there is a provision. If you are coming to Canada to study here, you have the option of including your wife and your children. Your wife can get an open work permit. She can work in Canada, and children can study free of cost up to high school grade. They would require a study permit though to study in Canada. The thing is, when it comes to allowing the visa to a candidate, And when it comes to allowing visa to the entire family, the officer is going to look at the circumstances of the family and does it make sense for to allow the entire family to come to Canada? How would they spend their time? What financial access do they have? And is there a risk of allowing the whole family, so much so that they might want to stay here permanently? So you have to have a very good, strong study plan and very nicely outline your future goals, which allows the officer to say, yes, this family really genuinely want to come to Canada on temporary basis. The husband is gonna study, the wife is gonna either stay at home or work if she wants to, and children are gonna go to school. But at the end of the period authorized for your stay as a student, they would leave Canada. Although it is also true that you do have options to become a permanent resident at the end of the day in the long run if you get a postgraduate work permit and also gain work experience on that postgraduate work permit for 1 year. You have the choice of applying for permanent residence under Canada Experience Class, or with the help of that Canadian credential, you get extra points and you qualify under the mainstream federal skilled worker program as well. So you don't have to wait for 1 year for to gain 1 year experience. So that is and that is the answer to your question. I hope I've been able to address that. Another question coming from Salman Akbar: what is the minimum investment requirement for investor visa, and do you help in this regard? Yes, we do help in this regard, Salman. There is only one investor program which is basically on hold right now. It's called the Quebec Investor Program, and the investment requirements are going to change soon. Otherwise, there are entrepreneur programs available, and in most of those programs, the minimum investment required in your own business in Canada is $200,000 and upwards, depending on the region you choose. And you are usually allowed to come on those type of visas, the entrepreneur visas, on temporary basis. And once you establish the business, you can then apply for permanent residence. So do get in touch with us. We'll be happy to assist you and evaluate you on the basis of your net worth, because these are the requirements: net worth, business management experience, and your ability to invest. So we'll see all these things all together, and we'll be able to suggest you the most appropriate program where you qualify and you also find yourself interested in. So we'll see. If your goal is to establish the business, maybe entrepreneur route is better. If your goal is to not establish the business, you don't want to go into the hassle of establishing the business, and you have the required network and ability to invest, you might want to consider the investor option, the option that is on hold, as I said before, but it will be available very soon. So we'll discuss about
Yeah.
that.
One thing which I'd like to add, Amir Sahab, this investment option is expected to be resumed from 1st of April 2021. So it's near, but if someone is really qualifying in that, so if Salman is qualifying in that, so perhaps we can make an assessment and then prepare the file beforehand.
This is how it
So
is. So, Salman, if you are interested in the investor program specifically, the program opens for a very, very limited period of time, and it closes very quickly because it has a very limited quota. And usually they bifurcate the quota between Chinese applicants and the rest of the world. And in past, we have seen that usually the quota is around 2,000 to 3,000 applicants. So most of the, or I would say 60% of the applicants are usually Chinese applicants. So there is a tough competition between uh, the the applicants, and there is usually a quota available with each financial intermediary. So what happens is, if you're interested, you have to actually get your file ready beforehand, before the quota runs out, because there's a lot of documentation involved, especially to prove that the money that you have, or the net worth you have acquired, was acquired through appropriate means, and you have to provide evidence of all the paperwork, paper trail. Net worth also may include real estate property evaluation and everything. So these all due diligence processes take a lot of time. So we'll see if you're qualifying. We will always recommend to get your file ready beforehand and submit as soon as possible. We'll facilitate with you and all the other issues surrounding the investor application. Feel free to get in touch with us. If you're in Pakistan, our regional director Khwaja Noman is on the screen. He can be contacted directly. Otherwise, you're always welcome to contact us. Okay. A question.
Salman, we will be showing. Salman is asking about the contact details also, so we'll be showing it later at the end. The contact details of so where they can make a contact, and then we can make an assessment and take things forward from there. Salman.
Okay, great. So there is another question coming from Amreen. She says, "What's the age limit to apply for immigration? I mean, can 40 plus people apply?" So there is no age limit, but you lose points as you grow in your age. As you grow in your age and as you lose points, it becomes difficult because the bottom line is affected, your total points are affected, and you're dealing or you're competing with a lot of other applicants who have different ranking scores. It is also true that people who are 40 or more, it is difficult for them to qualify under the mainstream program, but the provincial program caters to people who are losing points for any other reason. Any reason it could include, and it mostly includes for the age factor in most of the cases. We can assess your qualifications, your occupation, and everything, and we can see whether you are qualifying or not in one of the provincial programs. And if you are, then we can suggest you the most appropriate program available. Tariq is saying thank you very much for being part of the broadcast today, Tariq. Bilal Fahim is saying, is it easier to move to Canada from UK? So there are defined programs for Canada, and these are identical and same for any national. It doesn't matter which nationality are you holding, as long as you meet the requirements of the particular program or the category you're applying in, you would be considered. In terms of visiting Canada, of course, if you are a UK citizen, you don't have to have the visa to visit Canada. But since you are perhaps asking about a permanent move, the immigration criteria would apply to you the way it would apply to any other national. Okay. Amreen is also asking the same question, so I answered two people. Salman is saying, okay, so who should I get in touch with your team for NOC selection? Salman, you would be getting in touch with me. I, being the authorized representative, would be in a position to answer your questions legally. There is a link on our website to book a consultation. You can use that link, and there are time slots available. Choose one of the times, and I'll be happy to set aside my time for you, and we'll have a very detailed chat about it. We can then discuss, okay? Faizan is asking, what are the chances with CRS 385? Keeping CEC draw in view happened last week without PNP. So without PNP, I can assure you there are no chances. But with PNP, there might be chances, and Noman Saab is going to provide his input very kindly.
Yeah, in fact, in PNPs, we have seen, as Amir Sab earlier discussed, the draw that been happened in Alberta on 301 points ranking. So it's very, very important that you become the part of the pool, and I'm sure you will be looking into, because you have made your research and made your points already at around 385. So being the part of the pool is the key, and there are few provinces who've been continuously picking up from the pool. So you will be one of the part in terms of selection for sure. So be patient and be the part of the pool, and remain be the end.
Okay, good. Ali Hassan is saying, what are the chances of getting into 1 year MS or diploma program, ages 42, with BSc electrical engineering? So the chances of you securing admission rests with the the institute that is granting you the admission. You need to see what are the requirements to enter into the program, such as the CGPA requirement, any additional test requirement. Age should not be a problem because there are no restrictions as such. There are always programs for mature students, so you can find out. If you would be interested in us assisting you, we have tie-ups with a number of renowned and reputable Canadian institutes. We arrange admissions for our clients all the time. And since we are also authorized by the Government of Canada to represent your study permit application, you get two deals in one go under one roof with us. Not only that we arrange admissions, but we also represent your study permit application. There is a student assessment form available on our website, www.amirismile.com. You can complete that or simply send us an email, info@amirismile.com, and we'll be happy to assist. Salman's comment, I think you already eyed on it. Naman Saab is asking for
Yeah, that's right.
contact details. So it's available on our website, www.amirsmile.com. We're also going to show you the slide with phone numbers for both the offices, Toronto and Pakistan, and you'll be able to choose to select. And Ali is also saying that he has 2.62 out of 4. So we'll see if there is an institute available that can offer you admission at 2.62. We'll give you the choices and you can then go ahead. Tariq is saying both his English and French language skills are very good, and he also has long work experience. How much funds does he need in order for him to qualify for express entry? If he gets a job offer through a recruiter, does he still require to have minimum funds requirement? So generally, when you have a job offer, you are exempted from having minimum funds. We usually always ask applicants to show funds, just in case. I mean, it's always a good idea to bring in the money before your salary starts rolling, right? So that is one thing. But if you have a job offer, you also get 200 extra points. If it is a managerial job, it is going to boost your profile. But in terms of you having good command on English and French language, that is going to be very good. If you happen to appear in the official test for English, the IELTS test, or CELPIP and the French test, and if you get good score, you can claim extra points. Canadian government introduced extra points for French language recently. So if you have command on both, then it's going to be wonderful, right? And other factors are also going to be taken into account, like your age, your work experience, and maybe if you're married, the skills of your spouse, the presence of a relative in Canada. All these things, if they come down to a good ranking score, the chances are that you're going to be considered soon. Okay, Tariq? Aisha Mudassar is asking, do we assist in Global Talent Stream program? Yes, we do assist. It's a very, very good program, especially for people who are working in a subsidiary or a branch office of a Canadian company overseas, and they are in a good position, a managerial position, and their presence in Canada is going to be helpful to the parent company in Canada. The program is a very good program. The processing time is just 20 days. So you can be in Canada in just 2-3 weeks time. It's very, very quick. And a lot of people have actually arrived in Canada under this program. So we do deal in it. Do get in touch with us if you need any assistance. Sadali is saying, what are the chances of FSW draw in near future?
That's a golden question. That's a golden question,
1 million
because
question.
usually we have seen the draws been happening in 15 days time, usually in 2 weeks time. And since the Canadian government conducts express entry draw approximately every 2 weeks, so most recently it has been a trend that IRCC has been conducting the express entry draw date on a fortnightly basis, which is about every 15 days. So I believe the next draw is expected to be happen if we go like that. So naturally, if the next draw will be expected by 24th of February, but naturally, hopefully it will be a federal skilled worker one or the other Canadian experience or PNP one. So draw is there, but let's see which program being selected.
Yeah, in fact, if federal program draws are not happening, it's sort of a good news in a disguise, because all those high-ranking applicants are being selected. They're going to be not in the pool, so chances of CRS score coming down are high. Of course, it will all depend on the composition of the pool in future as well. If more applicants apply with high scores, then of course, or more CEC applicants apply, or more PNP nominations happen, it will affect the federal program applicants. But all in all, federal program applicants have the best choice, best option of getting themselves nominated by a province. Okay. Another very good question coming from Atya Kashyap. She says, are there any chances of CRS 426 keeping in view of current scenario? I seriously doubt that the 426 applicants will be considered this year. And this, we have been seeing the trend, and we have seen that 426 has never been, they have never gone down below that much. Especially with the pandemic going on, the focus is more on people who are already in Canada. So they will get to the all program draws, but I'm sure that given the composition of the pool, most probably they'll have sufficient inventory to invite people for at least next 6 months' time, targeting people who have a score of 450 or more. So 426, no, but provincial nomination is the answer to your concern. Amreen has perhaps suggested, thank you very much, suggesting your friend to join. Hassan Asim is saying the tech draw that recently happened had a really high cutoff. Any chance of another tech draw happening this year? It really depends on Ontario. Ontario selects people from the pool, as we know, and since they selected thousand and more than thousand, more than 1,100 applicants, these people are now not in the pool anymore. They are going to be they are in the pool, but they are most likely going to be getting their residency invitation. And because there are a lot of people in the pool, and a lot of them are from the tech sector, they happen to find a lot of people with high score all the time. The score might go down for Ontario as the composition of the pool settles down, as Canadian government is selecting a lot of people. So we can expect that the high cutoff is going to be decreased. But again, the Ontario, when they select people from the pool, they are not selecting everyone. They have not basically selected everyone. Let me just put on to Hajasa for this.
Hello.
Yes, no, once I
Hello.
can
Can
continue with the answer, yeah.
yeah. Um, I would say the tag draw that he's been looking into. Understand the cutoff remains to be on a very high note these days, but yes, another draw. Hopefully, I believe it's gonna be, because if we go and see the trend last year, it is expected that it's gonna be. But naturally, since you shared that they are currently focusing, specifically focusing people who are already in Canada, and that's the prime target recently. So let's hope the another draw tech should be happening this year, hopefully.
Faz saying thanks. So thanks, thank you for being with us today, Faz. Hassan is saying, any particular way to score a job offer in Canada from here in Pakistan? How good are the chances? The chances are very low. I would be very um, honest with you, because, of course, you can understand the process of getting a job offer involves an employer proving to the Labor Department that they didn't find a single person of your caliber in whole wide Canada, despite their utmost efforts. And most of the employers are more interested in hiring people from the local market because there are no hassle involved. Secondly, given the economic situation of all the countries, including Canada, the job market is gonna be, streamlining sometimes in future. Especially these days, you cannot expect a job offer coming through so easily. So I would be very honest with you. But whatever you do, whenever you try to approach an employer, approaching an employer is fine. You just need to confirm that the employer really does exist. But if you are using the services of a professional, has to be a licensed recruiter based in Canada and will not charge you any money. You're not supposed to pay any money. Anyone who's asking you for money, they are most likely gonna disappoint you. They're gonna just run away. So be very, very careful with that. Tariq, thank you very much. Tariq, my pleasure. Anam is saying that she has scored 6.5. Her age is 31 with 4 years experience, different NOC. Can I make EE profile? Which PNP is suitable for me? So, Anam, this is what we do here at AIA. When client approach us, we make an assessment, a free assessment of their eligibility. In that assessment, we figure out if the client is making it or not. And we also determine as to which province are we gonna target when we are on board with you. So my recommendation would be that you start with the free assessment on our website. We get back to you within 2 business days with our opinion. We then arrange a consultation that is going to be a one-on-one consultation where we discuss not only the eligibility and the targeting of province, but we also discuss all the other matters that might affect your application outcome, like admissibility, medical admissibility, criminal admissibility, misrepresentation, any other issues. I'm sure everything's going to be clear in your case, but our way of dealing with clients is a little different from the local agents who target only a client and treat them as a file. We treat them as a human being, and we want to make sure that everything is clear before and everything is transparent and expectations are set with the client, and they make an informed decision rather than just calculating the points and then going ahead and then submitting and then dealing with the issues later on. So we're going to do that with you as well. Feel free to complete our form and we'll be happy to assist you. So Adali is asking a question: how much CRS is expected for FSW? Because I'm having 466 score. Is it good or bad? So no score is good or bad. All the scores are good. If you have low, you are going to target the provincial program. If you have 466, you would still target PNP because you never know. We have seen that the score is hovering around 470, which is not going to remain like that for long. It's going to go down, but who knows if it gets stuck at 468 or 467. You are at 466. So maybe you can approach provinces. You'll have 1 year to do that. But most likely 466 seems to be a very, very good score. I'd like to have Aman Saab's input on that. Let's see what he says.
Yes, that's true, Amar Saab. You already answered that. It's a very, very good score in terms of provinces such as Ontario, who've been selecting candidates on 466, 465. So, very hopeful profile. Let's get in touch with us. Give us an opportunity to assist you in that.
Okay, good. Anam is saying she got our free assessment. That's very good. And she is eligible according to our email. So let me stop you here. And according to our email, you're eligible, but you are an educated person. You are a professional. What you need to really do is don't believe in what your consultant says. Even if the consultant is a licensed consultant based in Canada and has 30 years of experience, you do your own research as well. And unless you are yourself sure that you do qualify, then you proceed further. That's one point that I always make to my clients, that I have told you that you qualify, but do you yourself know you qualify? So do your own research, and everything is online. Do that, and then your next question, the next part of the question is, but the issue is that I scored CLB 8 means that she has 370 points of CRS. So of course, when you score CLB 8, that means you have the room to improve it. And 370 is basically a score where we have seen people getting selected under the PNP. PNP is of course not a guaranteed option. Provinces have limited quotas, but if you don't give it a try, your case is not going to move forward 1 inch. You have to be in the pool and approach provinces and keep your fingers crossed. Yes, it might not happen. That's true. But what if it happens? If that happens, you get 600 extra point and you are in Canada, right? But if you are concerned about your low CRS, 370 is a very bad score, I should not think about it, stuff like that, then I would say that nothing will proceed. So my recommendation would be that since you have gone ahead, appeared in IELTS, spent money, um, go ahead and create your profile, and hopefully things gonna be in your favor, inshallah. Okay, I think we have attended to all the questions today. We don't really have more questions coming in, but before closing in, uh, yeah, so some questions are still coming in. So if any one of you who are watching have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section. We still have a few more minutes to go, so we'll attend to them. Otherwise, we'll attend to them later on. Sadali saying you said to target PNP, but he is an MBBS doctor, and doctors have no scope of PNP. That is true. That is true. What should be target under 460? So don't target anything. Be in the pool and keep your fingers crossed. That's the best you could do. Doctors, of course, it's a regulated occupation, requires you to have a license before you could start practicing medicine in Canada. Sometimes it takes months and years before you're allowed to practice. So that is why PNP, even if they target, although they do need doctors here in Canada, but they know that even if they target you, if they invite you, if you come to Canada, you would still not be able to practice and you would be of no use to them until such time. So that is why.
But I would also suggest Saad to book a one-to-one consultation. Perhaps there might be a room for improvements in terms of advice. I think it's better that he should book a consultation one-to-one so that we can specifically discuss the other factors also which may affect in terms of points ranking, and we may see by tweaking into some other factors in place, so they might get a better options in between. So better to book a consultation with us so that we can have a detailed discussion, because naturally we are discussing here in bits of pieces. We never knew that you are an MBBS doctor. So fill out our assessment form. We can have a quick assessment first of all, and then we can set aside some time with you so that we can discuss.
Wonderful. Anam is saying thank you. You're welcome, Anam. Another question coming in from Mir Khizar Rizvi saying SINP score of 68. Is that good enough? That's a good question, and Naman is already.
Yeah, yeah. Khizr, 68. Nothing is good enough, to be very honest. We have to strive for the better and better. Obviously, I understand. Considering you as a foreign candidate, you might not have further room to increase. But maybe we can see while having a look at your profile once you fill out our assessment form. But yes, we have seen earlier in last 2 3 months back, the score was dropped to 68. So nevertheless, if you are the part of the pool already, so let's be there. Again, keeps your fingers crossed. Hopefully we can expect a selection. And since currently we have seen the score is hovering around 73, 74 in terms of selection in Saskatchewan. So better be the part of the pool. It may come down, and if it comes, then you'll be a good one to select.
Saad is saying thank you, and he's going to contact us soon. With that, I would like to show the slide which has our contact details. If any one of you would like to make a note of it, we are in Toronto at 100 King Street West, and our phone numbers are given: 416-913-0230 and 647-835-0660. This 647-835-0660 is available on our WhatsApp as well. Email is info@amirismail.com. Our Karachi office, that is in existence since 2000, in Kashif Center. It is a building on Shara Faisal. We are on 7th floor. Room number is 706, headed by Khwaja Naman, who's with us today. The numbers are 3565 2860 61 and 62. And there is a cell number as well, which is directly attended by Khwaja Naman, 0300 251 6207. So if you want to get in touch, that will be a pleasure to assist you guys. Some more questions coming in as we close in. Someone from LinkedIn is saying, thank you for these informative sessions. He is 50 years old. He has 20 years banking experience. Is there anything possible for his case? So you're losing significant points in the age factor. Most likely, you're not going to qualify under the skilled worker program or even a provincial program for skilled workers. But I'm assuming that since you have 20 years of banking experience, if this experience is in senior management category, if you have senior management experience, if you have headed a branch or a department in a big bank, and if you have supervised people, if you had the authority to hire and fire, and material management, maybe financial management or budgeting of the department, maybe, if these are the attributes you have, and if you have good um, net worth as well, you might qualify under one of the entrepreneur programs where you would be required to come to Canada and establish your own business in one of the cities or towns. And if you happen to establish a business based on the proposal you give to the provincial authorities, then you might qualify. Any children that you might have under the age of 22 will be part of your application. They can come to Canada and they can study up to high school free of cost, or study in university or college at a subsidized rate. So a lot of people who sometimes become concerned about investing in Canada, if they look at it from the point of view of grown-up children, education being subsidized or free, then they can actually get sort of a refund out of that only. Because if you send one child to study in University of Toronto, it costs on upwards of $100,000 a year. So if you have two, three kids, and if you only happen to establish a business in Canada against $200,000 or $300,000, it's really worth it. And at the end of the day, you basically get the Canadian passport. That's a good deal, I would say. Uh, Rizwan says non-demand industry can apply in SNP. Okay, so I don't understand the question very clearly. There is an occupation in demand list. Basically, excluded occupation cannot be considered. So if your occupation is excluded, will not be considered. As I say, she's gonna contact us after she's done with her IELTS. Okay. So thanks a lot. Yes, you're very welcome. Okay, so I think we are done with all our questions. So remember to join us every Saturday. Uh, we are available usually either at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. EST, live from Toronto, and we are accompanied by our regional director, Asia, Fajan Oman, to answer your questions. And if you have further questions, feel free to get in touch with us. We'll be very, very happy to assist you. Okay. So thank you very much for being part of it. Naman Sir, thank you very much for setting aside your.
Thank you. Thank you, Amir Saab. And I really wish that the upcoming draw, when we will be discussing in the upcoming session, will be a federal skilled worker one,
That will
hopefully.
be a fantastic session. Well, very excited actually. A lot of clients. We have a long list of clients waiting for the
Yeah.
invitation to apply, and even a longer list of prospective clients who have the required CRS and they are ready to proceed. And all they need is a little bit of encouragement to see what the next CRS level will be. Okay.
Yeah.
So goodbye from Toronto, from all of us, and hope to see you soon next Saturday.
Okay.